You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of GHS-TV's award-winning talk show, Crosstalk. I'm your host, Jamaia Chase. We are in the downtown Memphis area at the FedExForum. From hosting NBA and college basketball games to concerts and charity events, the FedExForum has so much to offer in the Bluff City. Today, we'll be getting a behind-the-scenes look at everything happening here at the FedExForum. I'll be talking with David Axe, the FedExForum's event manager, on how he plans these massive events. Mr. Axe, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Mr. Axe, the FedExForum opened in 2004. Why was the downtown Memphis location chosen for the arena?
They're looking at downtown because they're looking at transitioning from venues at the time that were made without suites to venues that had suites, and that was a big selling point for the Grizzlies, was having a venue that had those suites to offer to their fans.
Well, Mr. Axe, can you tell us a little bit about the arena itself?
Yeah, so it's an 18,500 seat arena. We host NBA games, college games, concerts, banquets, private events, all of that fun stuff. There's lots of different event spaces. We have a full practice court. The team has their practice facilities here.
When you walk in, you immediately see different murals from different musicians. Can you tell us about some of those?
Yeah, I think the venue's done a really good job of showing what the city has to offer as far as its music history and the music background that it has, which is really cool the way it utilizes different parts of the venue to do that.
What other things will people see when they're here for a game or an event?
I think they're going to see just a new arena, even though it was built in 2004. It's updated constantly, so it's always there for the fans. They see awesome concession areas, event spaces, places to hang out.
Well, the Memphis Grizzlies is the premier NBA basketball team here at the FedExForum, but you guys share this FedExForum with the University of Memphis Tigers. So can you tell us how you plan events for both?
Yeah, so obviously the Grizzlies, this is their home, so they take precedent, but we do a great job of working with them to make sure that we can get as many different events in here as possible and really open the building up to the community to things other than just basketball, which is obviously a lot of fun.
Well, who gets first dibs when schedules are being filled?
Yeah, so obviously the Grizzlies do. This is their venue, this is their home, and once we find out what their schedule looks like every year and playoffs and all that, that's when we're able to start looking at Tigers' schedule and then concerts and other events.
Well, speaking of game, the Grizzlies game have some of the most low-paying tickets. How are the prices able to stay so low?
I think the fan support helps. All the fans that come out here, we're able to justify those prices and make it fan-friendly.
Well, the FedExForum is the first and foremost basketball and concert arena. What other events are hosted here?
We've been doing a lot of banquets, small, large, private events. We're looking at really making this a place that's not just viewed as basketball and concerts, but it's something that the whole community can use. And we're trying to just fit in when we can, when we don't have a concert or basketball game, something that the community can use the venue for.
What is the capacity of the different games and events that are hosted here?
So for a basketball game, you're looking at about 18,000, 18,500, and then concert depends on the setup. It can be anywhere from close to 17,000 to we can do as small as 6,000, depending on the way the event's set up.
Well, besides the basketball games and concerts and so much more, there's other things that can be exciting here at the FedExForum. Can you tell us about the many different vendors that you have for food and different kind of things in that nature?
Yeah, so we have a lot of local restaurants in the venue that work with our concessionaire Levy that bring that fun taste to the venue, not just a standard concession stand, which is a lot of fun and just makes it a special thing for our guests.
Well, there have been many different renovations here at the FedExForum since it first opened. The most recent was a $1.8 million renovation in 2017. So can you tell us about any updates that the arena has coming up soon?
Yeah, so this summer we did quite a few renovations to our premium spaces, really freshened them up, which was really cool, redid them a little bit. We have lots of stuff planned. We just finished a renovation on our roof, which was needed, gave it a really nice finish. So we're always doing new stuff.
What are some of the departments that are housed around here?
So we have everybody. The arena operations team and concessions team is all located in the arena, and then we have our admin building on BB King that hosts the rest of our staff.
Well, the FedExForum has impacted so many different people. Can you tell us about the impact it has here on the community?
Yeah, I think, even though it's the city of Memphis, there's so many surrounding areas that come here to see concerts, even people from Nashville that come out here, the surrounding communities. So it does offer a lot to people all over the area.
As the event manager, what are some of the things you are responsible for?
So I'm responsible from planning pretty much any event that happens here, from the moment we find out we're having all the way to the moment they leave the building. So I'm working with them to make sure that we have everything they need. If we don't, that we can rent stuff in, make sure it's as smooth of a transition from them for them coming in.
Mr. X, what is the most challenging part about your job, and how do you overface those challenges?
I think just the time management. I can work a lot of hours sometimes, and it's just making sure that I'm working with the other departments to really plan out everything that's going on, so that's an efficient process, and that we make it as smooth as possible for everybody across the board, even the people that aren't interacting directly with the client, but through what I do, helping them talk together.
Well, out of all of the events hosted here, what are some that have specifically stuck out to you?
I think my favorite was Elton John when he came in October. That was a lot of fun. We had almost 15,000 people here, which is one of the largest events we've done in a while, and that being one of his farewell tour. It was awesome experience to work with that group that came in and offer that to the city.
Can you tell us about some of the events that are coming up?
Yeah, so we have quite a few concerts coming at the end of this month. We have the end of the NBA season. Hopefully the Grizzlies are in playoffs. That'd be awesome. And then we have a bunch of concerts this summer. That'll be a lot of fun.
How far in advance do you usually book concerts and basketball games?
I would say basketball, we work over the summer with the NBA and the Tigers to plan out that schedule, so that usually by September we know what that upcoming season will look like. Concerts average anywhere from 3 months all the way to a year or more, depending on how big the show is. I know Elton John was on sale for almost a year and a half. So your bigger concerts usually a little bit longer, all the way down to some events happen, within a couple months.
What all goes into planning an event here at the FedExForum?
Yeah, I think just from the moment that we find out we get the event, we're making sure that the event's going to fit in the building, that we're going to work with what they need, and then from there it's building up the marketing, advertising, all of that to get fans excited to come here. And then a couple months out, we're starting to plan what they need as far as staging or lighting or crew, all of that fun stuff.
You have many different charity events here at the FedExForum, such as Soup Sunday. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites, is those events that we get to bring the community in who don't normally come to events here, getting to show them a different side of the venue. Soup Sunday is always a fun one, having almost 3,000 people come in here and all the great food. We're trying to do more of those. We have Exposure coming in for a second year in a row with New Memphis in the fall, which is always a lot of fun.
Well, Mr. X, we're going to pause right here and continue this conversation later. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk with the arena production manager, Brandon Sams.
GHS-TV started in 1982, and it was just a couple of cameras, a couple of on-air personality, and it's really grown into what you see today. It's a multi-million-dollar studio with top-of-the-line technology.
Being able to operate, all of the machinery in the control room, being able to use all of our software and hardware that we have around the studio is a great skill, because this is top-of-the-line equipment.
I feel like this class has brightened my horizon. It's something that I never thought I would be doing, especially as a student.
GHS-TV is probably one of the most hands-on experiences a student will ever get in their lifetime.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. Nothing really has just the vibe that we have here.
Especially after you finished, you get a real rush of, wow, I just did that.
By the time a student graduates from Germantown High School, they will know pretty much every position there is, from producing to directing to on-air work.
You learn time management, you learn organization, you learn how to work with people, how to better communicate with people.
We put a lot on them, and they have to be able to have the responsibility and the knowledge to get everything that we ask them.
I had very little experience, so in the past 3 years, the skills that I've learned have absolutely exponentially grown.
The class has actually helped me figure out that I want to go to college for journalism.
When a student graduates, they are the best possible version of themselves that they can be.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. It takes a lot of hard work to operate and maintain an arena the size of the FedExForum. Here with me now is the arena production manager, Brandon Sams. We'll take a look at how he makes sure everything runs smoothly. Mr. Sams, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
First off, let's start off by asking you, what exactly is an arena production manager?
Well, I manage the day-to-day production and here at the FedExForum. So a lot of what I do is making sure our technology works, that it's effective, and that it doesn't need repair or anything like that. I also work with the team, make sure that our entertainment teams have what they need, make sure the broadcast has what it needs. You know, from the catwalk to the floor, I make sure it's running.
Well, needless to say, you do a lot of work.
Yes.
But you don't do it alone. So can you tell us about some of the crew
No,
you
I
work
do it
with?
alone. It's all me.
Can you tell us about some of the crew work you do?
Well, let's see. We have a lot of great departments. We have conversions. Our conversion department will, let's say, behind us would move the floor, swap it out to the other floor, or clear it up for concerts, whatever happens there. We have a broadcast department which runs the in-arena broadcast for games. We have Levy that does our concessions. So yeah, there's a lot of people, and we all sort of work together to make it a good fan experience.
What is it like working in this massive arena every day?
It's a lot of walking. It's a lot of walking. I get my steps every day. It's great, I mean, I guess the best way to say it is if somebody asks me what I do, I can tell them I have an office in an NBA arena, We are a top-level production in terms of what is happening in this region, in this market, we are definitely number one. And I take a lot of pride in that, and I work hard to keep that standard. So it's great.
Mr. Sams, can you tell us about some of the work you do to get ready for a Grizzlies game here?
Okay, so Grizz game is a great example, all right? We would start probably around 8 o'clock in the morning, where I'm going to put out the clock, turn on the sport lights, and make sure the team can shoot around. So then the team would have closed shoot-arounds from about 9 to noon, okay? And so we shut the arena down, we let them practice, let them warm up, let them get ready for the game. During that time, I'm kind of sending out emails, making sure everybody knows what's going on. If we have any kind of strange halftime act, I'm making sure I have all the music and stuff like that ready. And then I got to go clean up that mess, so I'll do that after this interview. Then let's see, post shoot-arounds, then we have to set up everything that is required for an NBA game. My responsibilities lie in stats information distribution, okay? So I have to make sure everybody has a stats monitor, everything's working there, the clock, precision timing, and basically all the little things the NBA requires work. So that's what I do from probably, 1 to about 4. Then between 4 and 6, we're troubleshooting anything that may or may not have gone wrong. Between 6 and 7, I'm eating, and then 7, we tip off. During the game, it's just kind of make sure everything's smooth sailing. Sometimes you're going to have to do some quick repairs. Sometimes nothing happens. And then post-game, we are either striking for the next event or making sure everything's safe if we're going from a Grizz game into another Grizz game.
Well, you also assist in live broadcasting. Can you tell us about the work you do specifically in that nature?
Well, okay, so we have 3 different live broadcasts that happen on an average Grizz game. Now that's not national television, that's just local TV. So we have the home show, which is run out of a broadcast truck in our broadcast bay. We have a visiting truck who has their own show. That's their visiting show. And then we have our show. And our show is called the In-Arena Broadcast, okay? And that consists of timeouts, okay? Intros. We run our intro video. Anything with our in-arena hosts. Any kind of sponsorships. So like we have the Mountain Dew shoot-off thing. That's us. And how I assist in that is just make sure it all works. It's kind of hard to say, but I do a lot of stuff to make sure that that continues, and it's great.
Well, what is it like separating those three different types of broadcast live?
A lot of it is making sure that the three things stay out of, that we stay out of their way, okay? We're here for the fans, so we're sort of, to a certain extent, we're the #1 show out of the group, right? But home show is for the broadcast, right? And so they're definitely #1, and then visiting show is a close second, so.
Well, what are some of the challenges that you face during a live event, and how do you deal with them?
Well, we're a good crew, okay? So we don't, not a lot of stuff breaks. But when it does, you have to be able to effectively fix it quickly. Probably my biggest thing is I kind of stress communication. If something's not working for you, you need to tell me quickly, okay? And then depending on what it is, if it's at the scorer's table, I have to wait for a timeout to like come out and change a patch cable or rerun something, or it goes from everywhere because it's so crazy the amount of things that can happen. I had a friend once who said it's a miracle because you think about all the different elements it takes to make this happen. It's a miracle that it works at all, and it is to a certain extent a miracle that it works at all. But we do fine. So,
Mr. Sams, you are an alumni of Germantown High School and GHS-TV. Can you tell us about how your experience with GHS-TV helped you here at the FedExForum?
And how it helped, it gave me a good sense of television broadcast and how much work it takes to accomplish that. It got me on a good path for that. And it was just a nice setup for an entire career in entertainment that has been nothing but fun. So.
Well, Mr. Sams, this was such a great discussion. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you, and cool, thank you very much.
Stay tuned, because when we return, we'll continue our conversation with FedExForum's events manager, David Axe.
We see the potential in every single student.
That sounds like a confession to me.
I love watching these kids as they start as freshmen in high school and watching them mature and grow.
At last, my right arm is complete again!
The theater program at GHS, it's something special.
It's very intensive, it's very interactive.
When a student starts here their freshman year, they start with Introduction to Theater. And after that year, they have a choice to either go into acting or technical theater. And then after that, they join our production workshop class. It's the class that is completely run by students.
The students do mostly everything. We build the sets, we do lighting, we make the costumes, we do the shows.
It's very fun. I mean, everybody's very supportive of each other.
Now we're all in this together. It's taught me so much about how to act and how to have a stage presence.
Not only are we teaching the students the skills that they need to be a great performer or a great stage manager or a wonderful lighting designer, we're teaching them skills that they're going to be able to apply to whatever they do in their life.
You guys are fabulous!
This department not only makes wonderful theater, but more importantly, this department makes wonderful people.
For more information about the CAPA program, visit GHSCappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. I'm Jamaia Chase. For our final segment today, we'll be discussing more of the history of events here at the FedExForum with David Axe. Mr. Axe, thank you again for talking with us.
Yeah.
So how is each event here at the FedExForum unique in its own way?
Yeah, I think that's what I love so much about the job is that you can have a basketball game and the next day you're doing a sold-out concert and the next day you're doing WWE where guys are, wrestling wrestling in the ring. We do a lot of unique events. You have Disney on Ice where you don't even have a standard concert stage. You're building an ice rink, that takes multiple days. And then you have something like WWE where they roll in with 30+ trucks and do all of that in one day. I think that's what makes our industry so unique is that we transform a space into so many different things, and that's what I find so exciting. Whether it's even though it may be getting up at 4 in the morning to come in for WWE, when I roll in and I come into the loading dock and there's 20 trucks idling their engines ready to start unloading, that's one of my most favorite things to do.
How are other concerts and family events booked here? Do you reach out to them or do they reach out to you?
Yeah, so it's a partnership. You're definitely reaching out and asking them what their schedule is, what their plan to go out, on tour is. And at the same time, if you make a good impression with a tour, they'll reach out to you because, being a venue that, works well with the tour and the crew there is something that they pay a lot of attention to. They're traveling day after day after day on buses and have to get up, at 7, 6 in the morning, and come to a venue they've not been to. And when they get to come somewhere where they know, hey, it's going to be a really easy day, we like the people we work with, that means a lot. And so I think that's my goal is to make sure that we make this as much as a home to them as possible so that they want to come back here.
Well, earlier in the show, you mentioned one of your charity events, Soup Sunday. Can you tell us how involved your crew is when making sure this charity event is a hit?
Yeah, definitely. We're talking with them all the way in the fall, planning the date out, making sure it's going to work with them, when we can load in. Do we have an event the day before? If not, then we like to load in a day early so they have time to plan and really take that time versus, doing more of an early load in. And then as we get a couple weeks out, I'm starting to talk to their staff and say, what do you need? What's different from last year? All the way up till, that day where we roll in together, we make sure they have everything they need. We work with their vendors to make sure they have easy access. So just like a concert, it's as easy as possible for them. We don't want them to have to stress when they come here. We want this to be a fun experience so they can make it a fun experience for their guests, which is our ultimate goal.
Tell us about some of the other exciting charity events you have here at the FedEx Forum.
Yeah, so last year was the first time that we did Exposure, part of New Memphis, where we had over 200 different organizations from around Memphis that came in and got to showcase what they're all about. Felt a lot like Soup Sunday, just more focused on the actual organizations we have in the city, which was a really cool thing to do. I'm fairly new to the city, so being able to walk around and see the different things that the city has to offer and all the different groups was a lot of fun.
Back to going to concerts, there are a lot of different road crews that are planning as well. So can you tell us about how many people are on that crew?
Yeah, so it depends how big the show is. I mean, you have some crews, I would say, average closer to like 40 or 50 people, all the way up to 100. WWE rolls in with 12 tour buses. They have like 6 to 8 TV trucks, and that's a massive staff. So obviously the larger artists have the bigger crews, but each one's just a little bit different.
Tell us about some of the specific work the crew does on these different trips.
Yeah, so you have, usually most of the time it starts out with your rigging crew. So they're the first one that get in the venue to start rigging the motors and all the steel that has to go up. And then you have your stage crew that comes in. Later you have a video crew that comes in and starts planning all the LED boards. You see those all going up. Then your audio crew, they're starting to do the sound checks and all of that, all the way up to your tour managers that are here dealing with the artists, your promoters who are dealing with the finances and all of that. So everybody has a role to play.
Well, what are some of your plans for the future of the events here at the FedEx Forum?
We're looking just to continue to grow those relationships with our promoters and bring in more events. We want to make sure that we're showcasing lots of different genres that speak to everybody in the city, so that anybody can come to a concert here. That it's not just a specific group, but that we offer things for everybody.
Well, Mr. Axe, thank you so much again for talking with us. We really do appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Once again, I would like to thank all of my guests for joining me on today's show. It's been a great discussion. For more information about the FedEx Forum and their events here, visit www.fedexforum.com. From all of us at GHS-TV, thank you for watching Crosstalk, and I hope to see you again.